I hope you all have installed Python and have some idea about the modules and the pip command that we tried in the last class, and we have a basic installation and everything set up. And with that said, we should be ready to write the programs. And I hope, like we discussed last time, like most of us have some idea of Python and only few of them were totally new. That's why for their sake, I'm starting from the basics, but then we'll go slightly so that others don't get bored. And if there's any questions, please feel free to ask me in the chat box. Okay. So we are going to write our first program. So you can even try while I teach in your laptop, or these notes, whatever I'm teaching, this you can try it out. And if you have any question, just put in the chat box. All right. The first program that we are going to write is a very simple 2-line program. It's just 2 lines. We have a variable name equals John, and then we are trying to print the variable. Okay. So it's just a 2-line. So I just have, excuse me. So I'm just having a variable here, right? And then trying to print name. It's just a 2-line. And once I run this program, I get to see the output as John, right? So this is a program that prints a variable. Now we'll just talk about variables in the next slide, but just to give an idea of a very basic, a very simple program in Python, how we can write. So I created a new file here in Visual Studio, right? And then gave the file name as p1.py. So the Python files should have the extension py, and that's how the interpreter understands this is a Python file, and it runs it and we get the output. Okay. So whoever is totally new can just try this 2-line program while we move ahead. Okay. So next thing is comments. So in comment section, if you want to, prevent any line of execution, we can provide comments in Python. That is, there are 2 lines here. That's the line number 2. If I give hash, so hash is used in Python to comment the line. That means that line will not be executed. Okay. So now once I give the comment hash over there, if I run the program, I won't get any output because the print statement has been commented. I'm not getting any output here. All right. So, and if I remove this comment and then run the program, I'm going to get the output as John because this line is getting executed. Okay. Now let's say another variable I'm using here. Let's say age. Okay, equals 20. Then I'm printing age. So if I want to prevent printing of both line number 2 and line number 4, one option what I can do is I can give here hash line number 2 and line number 4 also I can give hash, right? So now both the lines will not execute. See here, and I'm not getting any output. Okay. Now the question is, what if I want to comment multiple lines? How to comment multiple lines, right? So in order to comment multiple lines, we have to use 3 double quotes in the beginning and 3 double quotes in the end. So you see here, line number 2, I've given 3 double quotes. And so line number 2 is getting commented. Line number 3 is also getting commented. Line number 4 is also getting commented. Because in line number 4 in the end, I have given 3 double quotes again. Okay. In line number 5, if I say hello world, so now in this program, only line number 1 and line number 5 will get executed. The only hello world is getting executed. 2, 3, 4 are not getting run in the program because all these 3 lines are commented. Right? This can be single quote also. It need not be double quote. I can give 3 single quotes in the beginning and 3 single quote in the end. So now these are commented. So this is how we comment in Python. If you have any question, please feel free to ping on the chat. Okay, these are just the basic things you might already be knowing, but I'm just covering it for the sake of it. Okay, so that's about comments. Now next is receiving input. Okay. So let's say I have here name equals John, and I'm trying to print the name. So every time I run this program, it is printing John. Now I want this program to be flexible so that user can enter whatever name they want to, and it should print hello and that name. Right. Now if I want to print hello John, what I can do is I can just give hello here, double quotes, and give comma name if I give, and if I run this, it's printing hello John. But every time it prints hello John. Instead of that, I want user to input some value here. For that, we are learning a new function called input. Okay, so input function is what we use, and I give enter your name. So what will happen is in line number 1, Python will ask user to enter name, and then it will wait for user to input the name. And once user inputs the name, it gets stored in the variable name, and then you're printing hello and that name. Right. So let me run this. It is asking enter your name. Right. So if I enter my name and then enter it, and then it's printing hello Praveen. Right. So this is what the use of input function. Input function can be used to accept or receive input from the user. Right. So same way I can have another variable here, and again I can have input, right, enter city, and then I can capture that in another variable. Okay, let's say city, so I can print here, print, okay, just city. So these are the two variables, two input commands I have used, and both I am getting accepting and both printing. So that is what about the receiving input. Okay. Okay. Now next we'll go a little bit deeper into variables. So variables, you might already be aware, there's nothing but a temporary storage in the memory, which we can use it while our program is activated. So while our program is running, we can use these variables or temporary values which is there in computer's memory. Okay, and the most common variable types are, as you know, integer, float. So if you want to capture, so let's say if I want to capture a number, so let's say I give here a equals 10. Okay, and let's say name equals, okay, John, and I'm giving age equals 20. Okay, and let's say so I'm giving here 4 variables, and the type of all the 4 variables are different. The first variable is name, and the value of that variable is John, which is a string or a text because I've given this in double quotes. Okay, and the next variable is age, and which is number, and straight away we have given a number or an integer. Third is a score, which is a decimal type variable, or we call it as a float, because a decimal 4.3 is a float. And the fourth variable is resident. So this is a true or false. It can be true or false, which is a Boolean variable. The resident can have true or false. Okay, score can have any decimal numbers, age can have integer, and name can have the string variable. So the reason we have these different data types is so that we can perform the calculation accordingly. For example, we cannot perform mathematical calculation in the name field, right? We cannot add or multiply or divide or anything in the name. So that is the reason we have separate data types for all this. Okay, so this makes the program easier, and it makes it efficient to run it and apply the logic. Okay, and to print, we can simply print all this, right? Name, comma, age, comma, score, comma, resident. Now all these 4 variables which I have stored, I can simply print it by using that name, and it will print like this. Printing all the variables, all 4 variables, it got printed. Okay, so this is about the variables. Any questions so far, anybody? All right, so good. So far it looks easy. Next, we will see the data structure part. What are data structures? And before that, we'll just try to learn one more function called. So let's say if I want to know the type. Now I'm just telling you this is string, this is number and all that, right? If you want to find the type of a variable, you can use a function called type. Let's say I give type the bracket and I give name. Okay, I want to print the type of the variable name. Got it? So if I run this, I'm getting the class str string. The type of the name field is string. So let me comment this print one. So now if you run it, the line number 6 is printing string because the type of this name variable is string. And similarly, if I print type of score, it is going to print float because float is the score is a decimal type, so it is a float. And if I try to print the type of age, right? Now this is going to print me the int. So type function is what we use to determine the data type of a variable or type of variable. Okay, that is what is this. Now, let's say I want to accept a age of a person, and then or let's say no, I want to accept a number and perform some calculation. For example, a equals, I give input, enter a number. Now if I want to print a plus 10, what is going to be the output of this program? A equals input, enter a number, and print a plus 10. So if I enter the number, let's say if I run it, enter a number, so I'm entering 20, and then what will be the output of this program if I run it? The value of a is 20, print a plus 10. Any idea what is going to print? 30. Okay, so I get 2 answers, 30, 30, great. So actually, let's see now. So thanks for the answer. So let's see. So now when I run this program, it is throwing me an error actually, right? Can only concatenate string, not integer. So the reason behind this is whenever we use input function, it will always accept the input in string. That means A will be always string. And since A is a string, you cannot do a mathematical operation to a string. Got it? That is a thing with input. So what we have to do is this variable A, which is in string, you have to convert that into an integer. Okay. So for that, we use a function called int. So I give int of A. So now what will happen is whatever number we are entering into this variable A, that will convert into an integer, and then it will add 10 into that. Okay. So this time if I run this, enter a number, I'm typing 20. Now it is printing 30. Okay. So that is the use of this int function. Okay. Now let's say I am again running this program, and now I'm enter a number 2.5 I'm giving. Okay. So now it is throwing me an error that you cannot convert the text, this number, into a integer because this is a decimal value, right? 2.5 is decimal value. So if you want to capture or convert, an input into a decimal, we have to use a different function called float. Right? We use float. So now if I run this program, enter a number 2.3, that's printing 12.3. So that is the difference between float function and int function. We have to convert into float or int if you want to perform mathematical operation, because input function will always accept it as a string. All right. So that is another basic thing. So what we have seen, int and float. Okay.